Hey guys, it's Lina. Thank you for joining me today on my channel. Today I wanted to share a project I created for Coco Vanilla Studio. I used the Make-A-Wish collection and I also used Wild at Heart. So I mixed both of these collections and I think they complement each other pretty well. For the most part, they have very similar tones, and so I like that I could use both of them in conjunction. So yay. So I started with that cut file and I cut it out on my Silhouette Cameo. And that particular cut file is from Paper Issues. And you can find that free on their website. And I just cut it out of that double dot paper, and that's one of my favorite ones in the collection. And now I'm just looking for a piece of paper to back it with. And I finally decide on that navy floral after trying all the papers. And the reason why I decided to go with that floral in the end is for a few reasons. Firstly, it matched with my photo. In the photo, my youngest meatball, it was her first birthday. So that is her smash cake, and she's got her nose full of cake. But in the photo, she is wearing a navy blue glitter dress. And so I felt that the navy of the paper complemented the photo, of course. And secondly, the focus this week is to use, can I say any more times? The focus of this week is to use both floral and hearts. So that floral paper was perfect to bring in the floral element, right? So here I'm just going to go back and forth between the two collections and kind of compose myself and compose my thoughts and kind of figure out what I want to do. And I was thinking of including the cutout of the circle that's in the center. Then I was like, why am I going to cover up this awesomeness of navy and floral? I'm not doing that. So I decided to leave it open without it being covered up, and I like that. And so now I'm just going through the collection and I'm pulling papers that I like. I think for the most part I used all of the Wild at Heart papers, but a lot of the ephemera is from the Make-A-Wish collection. So Make-A-Wish is their birthday themed papers or collection, and Wild at Heart, you know, is full of gorgeous florals. So right now I'm just picking random pieces, and well, they're not really random. And I'm matting my photo, and I'm going to eventually do my regular popping up of the photo on some foam dimensional sheet, and you'll just see that in a minute. So I'm a little bit out of frame with what I'm doing. I was just continuing to map my photo, and I just used some of the papers that corresponded and coordinated well with the papers that I had already used. And here you could see me, like I mentioned, using the foam for dimension. And I really like when my photo or even elements on my layout have a bit of dimension. I feel like they really literally jump off the page, and it gives a lot of height and, you know, different textures. I love that. So you can see now that I am going through the wood veneers. Well, I was. And I will eventually get back to them. I get distracted when I have so many things on my desk. I know that you guys do too, because I hear all the stories, right? Like we go back and forth all the time, and, you know, should I use this? Shouldn't I use this? And, you know, you look at stuff and you ooh and ah, kind of wipe the drool from your chin, right? So I eventually go back to the wood veneers, and I end up picking out all the hearts. Not all the hearts, but a lot of the hearts. So I want to apologize. My lighting is really wonky right now. My scrap room is in the basement, and so I have to work with lighting overhead. And I guess because of the colors, or maybe that day, or maybe because my camera was kind of just wonky that day, but I feel like the lighting changes a lot. So I just want to apologize. It's kind of bothering me watching it, but hope it's not bothering you guys too much. So I'm going to use those incredible roses or cabbage roses or whatever they are from the Make-A-Wish collection, and they're so pretty, and I've been kind of hoarding them for a little while because I didn't want to use them up because, you know, once you use things, they're gone. So, but now I'm finally committing, and it's a perfect time to do that since the theme itself is hearts and florals. So I'm going to end up popping up some of the floral bit just because my photo is elevated, and so it just looked better when it was popped up itself as well. So I stuck that tag to the left, you can see there. What am I doing? I'm out of frame. I'm still arranging. And I'll continue to work on my clusters. You'll see here in a minute. So I love that doily. I still had one left from the Wild at Heart kit, and I loved it, and I've tried my best not to use it. Do you guys do that? Like, not use things because you don't want to use them? Like, I'm so bad with that. Like, I gotta remember to use things because you should use your things, right? Instead of them not being used. But I finally cut into that doily die cut. It's taken me so many layouts to cut into it, but finally I use it here. And those letters that say love you are from the chipboard accent sheet. And I just felt that they worked with the collection. This collection has nothing to do with being lovey-dovey or whatever, but I mean, I love my kid, right? So why not incorporate it? But the main theme is happy birthday. Those two frames are from the Wild at Heart die cut pack, and they're just regular, you know, cardstock die cuts. They're not the frames. And so I'm going to use those as layers as well. And there's that doily. Love. I've used it. So I'm thinking about using the other half, but I don't think I do. So luckily, I guess I do have another little piece, don't I could play with. And I'm looking between the two collections. So I mean, the colors are very happy in both collections. The ones in Wild at Heart are a little darker and more saturated, whereas the ones in the Make-A-Wish collection are more, you know, bright and poppy. So I'm a little out of frame here, and I apologize for that, but I think I end up moving my layout a little further up in a second. So there I go with the little words. You guys know the way I feel about words. I think I say this in every video. I love tiny types. I just feel like they convey messages without having to do journaling. Like, I'm not a journalist. I don't journal on my layouts because I don't like my writing. And if I have to make note of something that happened that day, then I'll do it on the back, you know, especially when it comes to documenting ages or specific time period or where we were or whatnot, then I definitely do it on the back because my memory is not that good where I can just remember things. But for the most part, 99.9% of the time I do not journal, but I feel like the tiny words give you kind of that sense of writing and journaling and sentiment without having to actually put pen to paper. And I think I would like to begin like writing things out on my computer and making my own tiny type to convey messages, or, you know, kind of journal without it being actual journaling. I really like when people do that. Like, I've seen others do it, but I haven't done it myself, and that's usually because when I have the idea to do it, my computer is never usually near, right? And so when I'm scrapbooking, I kind of need to hurry up and scrapbook before one of the kids has a meltdown and takes me away or takes my attention or takes that minute away from what I'm doing. I know you mamas sympathize with me. It's like, hurry up and get it done. You know, it's like speed scrapbooking some days, I feel. But I know that it needs to get done because this is for them, right? We scrapbook for ourselves, of course, but we scrapbook for others as well. So, of course, I notoriously dropped that butterfly on my photo, and of course, it was glued side down. So, you know, but it came off pretty quickly, and I didn't ruin my picture. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to glue down my alpha letters, and it's just going to go across there. And the colors are very pretty, and they don't stand out so much that becomes the message of my layout. Do you understand what I mean? Like they kind of blend in, which I kind of like, right? So the navy is really doing the talking, I feel, in this scenario, in this case, with the message. So it's happy birthday to you. And my little one was 1 on this day. So I always glue my alphas down unless they're the foam thickers, and then sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. I feel like those are very extremely sticky, and I don't bother. But for the most part, I glue down my alphas like 99% of the time. So like all the time, because I always feel like that commercial glue that comes with thickers and alphas is not the strongest stuff. And I've had bad experiences. If you've been following me from the start, I think one time I tell the story where I dug out my old scrapbooks from when I first started scrapbooking over like 10 or 12 years ago, and everything had come off the page. Like everything. Alphabets, embellishments, pictures were like at the bottom of the page protector, and I was heartbroken. And to be honest, I still haven't fixed it. And I'll tell you why. I'm thinking of maybe redoing those albums. In a way I want to, but at the same time and in the same aspect, I don't want to, because it's the evolution of me and the way I started scrapbooking. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, the way I scrapbook then is like nothing like the way I scrapbook now. I remember I used to scrapbook teeny tiny like photos, like, and a million of them on page. You know what I mean? So I tried to fit so much on one page, and I never like used a sketch. Like I still don't use sketches, but I mean I just really winged it back then. And I used to spend a small fortune. I swear, my husband would kill me when credit card bills would come in. I used to buy those Jolies, those really puffy ones, and stick them just randomly on pages. And I loved my pages at the time, but when I look back at them now, I'm like, my goodness, Lina, what were you thinking? And I'm sure that when I look back in another 10 years to the layouts that I do now, that I'll say, Lina, what's going on? But it's nice to see your evolution as a person, right? And as a scrapbooker and as a creator. So here you can see that I glued down some of the wood veneers like I mentioned I was going to do. So I just left them as with the natural wood color that they are. And that is because I was doing my happy dance. I finished a pack of enamel dots. I never finished them. And I was so happy. I did a happy dance that I used all the enamel dots. So I was saying that I left the hearts in their natural color and shape states because I added a wood grain butterfly, and I just felt that it just tied everything in at that point. And plus that color wood is so pretty. So I'm thinking of adding something on the top right corner. I feel like it just needs something else. And I do think I end up putting something. I just don't remember. Let's wait for it. Yeah, I do. So I put some, it says happy birthday, some tiny words. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I end up doing. And an arrow, of course, because why not? And this is pretty much it for my layout. So I went crazy. Like I added the enamel dots. Well, here are the stills. Added the enamel dots. I tucked them in and around my page, and that was it. I called it done. I hope you guys enjoyed my layout, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye.